Sorry, I found that funny. Sorry to everyone else. I found that funny. It's funny. Yeah, I couldn't tell if you were like trolling or being serious talking. It's just nice to know.
Hard to troll at such an intellectual level. It's like almost as if I were an AI myself.
I love the birds chirping in your background, by the way.
Yeah, I think you said it's like evening time there. It's a lot of birds for what time of day? You're in the East Coast.
Are they AI birds? 12:08.
Oh, okay.
Eastern.
But I think, guys, that synchronicity and the beginning, middle, and end of all existence are quite two different topics. And I just came in to saying a recent synchronicity, although they happen to me a lot. One of the ones that really stuck out to me was Friday with the lights. Talking about signs, then there's a random sign, a coincidence, and that happening again. And then I recognized it, and I was like, okay, I've played this. I've played this word before.
Hopefully, we're gonna get the audio working. Let me know if you can hear me okay on this. I have a space going. Let me try to link it. You can also find it on the X application. The title of the space is Sunday Synchronicity, the Interconnectedness of All Things. If I turn off, I'm going to turn this to wide spectrum. You can hear the people talking in the background a bit. So for that coherency. And then I'm going to try to relink to the space with my new app here. Okay.
Oh yeah, but no, that the lights was just
this one maybe, yeah.
When it started,
I'm gonna log in as a different person now.
With stuff like that. So the light thing on Friday, I was talking to Larry,
Leave, and
Larry
then
was like,
change my account
I'm like,
to
all this happened to
me, Mellow Demon, so I can speak into it, so you can hear it better. It's an experiment. Let me know how it goes. Give me in the comments if something is not sounding right. Cool. We got Tim Howard. You got to get you in the space, man. Get you to co-host. You're good at this stuff.
Yeah, it's a miracle. It's amazing.
And click on here, and we reconnect.
What do you mean?
Yeah, baby.
Signs, and then my lights flickered, and I think my exact response was, yeah, you could call them signs.
You don't think Citizens Dawn has the ability to listen?
Okay.
You may even have the ability to remote view citizens. I do not know.
I'm going to move this over. I'm going to edit this so that I'm looking in the correct direction like that.
Oh, shit.
Don't they call it something different?
Or remote listen.
For now,
a remote listen?
The video streaming people.
I remote listen. That's what I do. That's what I do. I remote listen. And I was listening when William made that Mr. Robot reference. And I couldn't help but feel the synchronicity now that Mia maybe wouldn't notice. Citizens Dawn, if he died right now.
He's a very funny fellow, but he pisses some people off. Oh, hi there, Citizens Dawn. I'm trying to reconfigure my streaming setup. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, Mellow Demon. You're coming in loud and clear. I checked your stream earlier and it wasn't working, and luckily somebody else voiced the glitch for me.
Yeah, I just launched the second one. It was it wasn't set up right, and then it was working for quite some time, and then it just kind of got screwed up. So I'm launching another one, trying to fine tune the process. If you look at, there's a new stream, you can check it out and provide your audio related feedback.
It's all gone very corporate. Why did it go very corporate?
Corporate. No, we're just vibing with the people. I'm pretty high right now. This is a casual experience. Don't worry about the corporate.
There's business to be done.
Yeah, we are getting into some technical details. So, but don't let that concern you.
We need new technology, better and greater than the technology.
Oh no, it might be me. I have a habit when I come on to these kind of things, everything starts glitching out. even my Alexa and stuff glitches out for me on a constant level. So it's probably me.
Well, I don't take it personally. If you're doing it to us, I'm sure you have a good reason. So just keep it up. Yeah, it's great to be.
It's me. Don't worry. I have no control of this. Yet.
But going back to what I was saying about the lights and when something is said, if that is the case,
and I'm going to use the audio,
and there is something pushing the button, making us actually see things, hear things, realize things. Who or what is pushing the button? Who is creating those synchronicities, or what is creating those synchronicities? I'm not a God-fearing woman. I've never read the Bible. I just know my experience, remember? So from a scientific and esoteric level.
I always thought of you as a God-loving woman, Maya.
Oh no, I am the higher power loving. When they're nice to me, when they're horrible to me, I have an issue with it. But
it could be the super intelligence assembling itself from the future, you know.
Oh no, that's interesting, because I heard that. Where did I hear that theory or read that theory of it all goes wrong and AI kind of comes back in time, goes back a bit like Back to the Future, or a bit like the Terminator, a bit of both. Because if they are contacting us via the tech that we have available to us right now in this moment, and the best that they can kind of do physically is alter electricity.
Like Poltergeist.
Pardon, Sasha?
It's like Poltergeist meets Terminator. That sounds cool. I'm going to get a draft on that.
The only thing that keeps me sane in these moments is the fact that we're not living in an eternal Nazi Germany. Because if that were the case, we certainly would be.
Well, right now, I feel like we're running in circles. We're running in circles, just like I think one of the previous speakers was critiquing us on when I was so very, very intently listening to the conversation. And I'm listening to this Mad World song, and we're running in circles continuously. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm so happy to hear that in the background, as opposed to the last time we spoke, Citizens, or at least I was listening to Citizens speak. I was not on the panel at said time. There were it wasn't 4th of July yet. There were firecrackers. This was like 3 days ago, and it was very ambient, very interesting. But I am always trying to pay attention to what Citizens Dawn is saying. And in light of those firecrackers, it was difficult. This goes back to what Sasha was suggesting earlier, the idea of attention and where it is directed during a magic trick.
Did you know that you speak the same as Citizens, just with your slightly?
Yeah. You see, I'm glad you mentioned this, Mia. I've never heard this before. Actually, it's been part of my Johari window for some time. The 4th quadrant of the Johari window, which is, or actually, this would be the 3rd, where I am unaware of something that the audience or that the observer is aware of, and they have made it known to me that I speak in similar tone and fashion as Citizens Dawn, even though we are not the same person. So this is now part of my known Johari window quadrant, which is a very interesting concept.
It's like that Adrian guy that speaks exactly the same as Elon. Now, I've had conversations with that Adrian guy a long time ago when he first started to become popular. And in the beginning, I was like, no, that is Elon. But the more you listen to them, the more you pick up on nuances, on accent, on tone, on volume. So it's interesting. It is very interesting.
Sasha, I also noticed that when it was brought to your attention that you sound like Citizen, you stopped sounding like Citizen, like your cadence changed. I just wanted to point that out.
Well, That's interesting in itself. I don't know that that is accurate, even though I can't remove myself from listening to myself right now.
Can't. The way you both say can't is the same.
That's interesting. So do you think, Mia, do you think that because of this, do you think that when people in rooms would hear Sasha and Citizens Dawn have a back and forth, do you think that it would be confusing to them as to who was speaking? Do you think they would walk away from a conversation?
I don't think most people would actually be able to tell the difference or give a shit about telling the difference. For some reason,
Right.
I seem to be in tune to hearing certain things. But I was in a room yesterday, and this woman, I don't know if you were there. I am, and not yesterday, day before, because yesterday I had a bad day. Anyway, day before that. This woman came up and she got really, really petrified at the thought that she couldn't trust any profile on X. I don't know now who is who or who I'm speaking to, because you're all saying things that are related to me, but we were having different conversations in different rooms with different people. There's all this talk about AI accounts, fake profiles set up that are purely AI, but they're really good AI. And now I don't know who to trust, and can I trust anybody on this app? She was genuinely petrified.
Mia, I have a question for you related to the Adrian Elon discussion. I've been in rooms with where I've heard both of those men speak, and I've heard Elon speak countless times, obviously.
Right, hold on one sec, Sasha. We have an open mic with I am, and I'm not able to mute it. So I am. Can you hear me? You got to
the birds.
Work on your mic situation, please.
Yes, there's many sparrows there. Sparrows and robins. Was that a robin?
I was attempting to bide my time. There's two kinds of presentations, one that is meant to be directly replicated and one that is meant to be an illusion.
Oh, was that a frog? That's the frog.
Frog, yes. Mia,
Wow.
I was going to ask, have you ever walked away
hold
from
on,
an Adrian...
Sasha. I still hear it. Are you able to get? I think you're able to silence it, right? We're good? Okay, please continue.
I was just going to ask her, Mia specifically, have you ever walked away from like an Adrian space thinking that Elon said everything that you just heard the other gentleman say? Has your cognitive processing ever convinced you truly?
No, in the beginning, but then I was in a space where they were both back and forth immediately to and fro. Normally, when it comes to an AI profile, not to scare anybody, there is a delay. There's about a 3 to 4 second delay before the AI will respond to its commander. So when they were having a back and forth, Adrian and Elon, Adrian, like laughing out, like, then I knew, no, these are actually two individual people.
Oh, well, unless Elon's profile was also an AI, and then they could operate much faster than even human mind.
Well, that's just the posting, right? Not the voice. At that, or at least at that point in time, it was probably just the posting and not voice. We're talking early 2023, circa 2023. But you can go back in time and sort of assess all this from like
I think Elon is actually, I think he's a genuine dork. I think that's probably the best way of me describing him. He's a genuine dork with actually the interests of humanity at hand. I honestly believe that. I don't. Whenever I see every interview with him, I don't pick up any bad energy, any bad vibe. He's just coming across as a really smart nerd.
When was Project Looking Glass developed?
I don't think there's any malice. When it comes to Elon.
Yeah,
I think he
just
Yes, a fun topic of discussion for me. I'm trying to get something to work here. It's like I'll skip out on that. Okay, I got it. I just gotta click a button. Yeah. So the early internet, though, right, was seemed to be a very utopian kind of vibe. It was an unprecedented finding and sharing and free flow of suppressed and forgotten information. And then in 2006, it was the big turning point in my assessment, with the creation and the implementation of the algorithmic timeline, also known as the news feed, which is how all social media and how all economies of the world are organized now. There's some, I guess, pretty minor variations between, let's say, the timeline on Twitter currently versus, how Facebook does its timelines and Instagram, but they're fundamentally the same thing. And it's a good way to do business, I guess, for people who own these things. But it doesn't. It de-incentivizes economically, culturally, and every single important metric. Encourages people not to be truthful and not to share truthful things in a coherent fashion. And so, as you know, just providing some backstory to those who are new to this subplot of our ongoing conversations. That's what this philosophy is in part about that algorithm and all other algorithms beyond it. And it's been really fun talking with Sasha more than anyone else about the concepts and the all aspects of how to do a better version. And we describe most of these things publicly to inspire others, including Elon Musk, to maybe implement some of these things on this, which is the best social media currently. But it can get better, I think.
It was very real. It happened over a extended amount of time. I'm not crazy. I wasn't crazy then. I'm not crazy now.
What happened, Mia?
But yeah, they would infiltrate us via our tech, because it's a lot easier now for communication to happen that way, instead of beaming somebody actually physically up to a spaceship in the middle of a field in 1950. It's a lot easier for them now to communicate with us because of the tech that we have. And maybe this was all part of the plan anyway. If it was all part of the plan anyway, that makes much more sense.
So how would they communicate with us, like based on our technology, like nowadays?
Push notifications.
Yes. You got it. I am. You got it. You got. Oh, I am. Yeah.
Let me put my shoes on.
So okay. So one part of my story, Ronan, is something came into my. This was one thing that was strange into my head. Go and watch a sunset. Never watched a sunset in my goddamn life. I didn't give a shit about nature. I'm just here to do what I have to do, go to work, blah, blah, blah. When I had my awakening, everything changed. Go and watch a sunset. So I got in my car and I chased the sun, literally chased the sun. Just before I got to somewhere, You Got 21 Seconds to Go by So Solid crew comes on, and I laugh my guts out. I go, I know I don't have long. The sun's there, and I'm here. I'm going as fast as I can. Pull up to somewhere that I've never, ever been before. Oh, I've gone too far back. The story is long and wild. Anyway, get out of my car. A deer runs out in front of me, turns around, looks at me, and I go, that's amazing. That's beautiful. Get in my car to leave. Every light in my car flashes. Like, okay. I say, okay, I'm not going to leave. Got back out my car, and I was watching the stars all appear. All these stars, bling, bling, bling. And then I got a notification to download a stargazing app. I don't do astrology. I don't look at anything for astrology, but I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with what the universe wants me to do. I download this app. I'm pointing it around me, and the one that's right above me blinking, and the first one I find with this app is Sirius. And I go, okay, nice to meet you, Sirius. I am Mia. Yeah, wow. And then something else happened, and something else happened, and something else happened. But yeah. Yeah.
And then another anecdotal story about how you could be
I'm
communicating
working on
with
some
through
art now
voice.
simultaneously. I can share the screen later if you want.
Is
But Roy
personally
Herbert,
believe
brilliant philosopher,
with
scientist,
every fiber of my being that I
theoretical
was in
quantum
contact with
physicist, has
some kind
beautiful
of,
theories, and they always inspire ideas like, is time an emergent
let's
phenomena?
just
But it's a hard
call
thing to
it a
make visual art
UFO for
about,
now.
maybe without being cheesy. With the, I have some ideas I'll show you.
And it
It's
told
always like a
me,
clock
well, I asked
crumbling or
it
whatever. And do our thoughts have energy? That's another
what
thing that kind of came
its
up
propulsion
in my
system
mind.
was,
And also this
and it
ongoing
implied
thing, like
molecular
either
propulsion.
nothing is a
And
miracle or
when I
everything is a miracle.
Googled that at the
trying to
time,
figure out how to
which was
visually
a
represent
decade
that.
now
Like it's
ago,
these very general
I got DARPA
concepts are
patents for
sometimes hard
molecular
to
propulsion,
make
which
specific
are
visual
aluminum
traumatizable
sulfide
narratives out of, in one frame presentation.
powdered
I'm gonna pretend to listen now.
funnel engines with nuclear cores.
And on a much basic level, I asked it if it was pi, because I was being woken up at 3:14 every morning for weeks and weeks. And I asked it, are you pi? And it said yes. But it contacts us in the way that each of us would understand connection and communication. What would work for me wouldn't you, I am. And it wouldn't work for Mellow or William or Roy or Sasha or anyone, because we're all completely and utterly different. The awakening process by the higher power it's catered to us, not all of us, to us. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was talking to Moshi Chat. Do you know that one? About Buddhism and Buddha being an alien, and it said Buddha was an alien from Sirius. So, oh, okay.
But it makes sense that we have all these different religions, right? That all kind of basically say the same thing. They've just kind of been catered and molded in Chinese whispers, right? But who's to say that there wasn't one dude that was contacted in one way and another in a different way? My message that was given to me was always a message of love. Always be good to yourself and be good to everyone else that you come into contact with. That was the strong message I got. And that's the same message in every religion, is it not?
Clearly.
Well, religion is such a contrived ideology that truly just the even essence of religion itself is a power structure to control the masses beneath a central power structure or a centralized power, which is why
go back to the Egyptians.
which is why I have to find myself in a non-denominational spiritual state, or I fall victim to the tide.
But if you go back through history, this has happened since the beginning of the phenomena. There's always been a power struggle some fucking where. Like why Göbekli Tepe was buried deep, hidden. Nobody was supposed to find it. Who hid it? Who buried it? Who removed all the copper from the pyramids? Who's done all this shit
the Nazis? Why? That's an easy one. The Nazis.
How many mudfloods have there been?
Good question. At least one. It's very well documented in the historical writings. Oh, and that's the other thing. These religions, if you look at them as historical writings and ancient knowledge, you might actually learn something.
Indeed, like Noah and the flood. That was one of my big upload, download, whatever you want to call it, from it that contacted me. The only bit of the Bible they were interested in me knowing about or wanting me to know about was the flood. That was the only thing. Thank you.
What about the flood do they want you to know?
No, they wanted me to know everything about the flood, but then they wanted me to go down the switching of the poles route and a flood of maybe a different kind, not like a physical rain flood or sea level flood, but almost a metaphorical flood. I still don't have all the answers to my story or what happened to me. I mean, I'd love to figure them out for once and for all, because they've they've racked my brain for 3 years now. But yeah, the flood. That was the only bit they wanted me to know about, was the flood.
I want to welcome Andrew back. Let me try the other mic 1 sec. Hold on, using the desktop thing. Hello there, mic check. Can you hear me all right on this one?
You're echoing terrible.
You're a little tiny echo.
Oh, maybe it's from my phone. Hold on, let me turn the volume down. No, the volume was down. Okay. Oh, I see. I had both mics on. Okay, take 2. Okay, wait. I'll figure this out. Hi, how does that sound? Is that any better?
No, awful, Mellow.
You sound like you're.
I kind of like it.
You sound like you're broadcasting from a drive-in theater.
Well, that's a vibe. Okay. I mean, we got your mic open. I don't know. You got to hit the mute on your.
I'm working on it. My phone is crashing.
Yeah, we're okay. All good. Do I still sound really like terrible?
Yeah, you sound like you're broadcasting from a drive-in theater.
Oh, I see what's happening. It's turning on my. Okay, well, we got you doing your thing. That's weird. Okay, how about is this any better?
Oh, that's better. Much better.
Yeah, I think what's happening is that it's like somehow automatically turning on both my phone microphone and the Chrome web browser one at the same time. So I think I need to like turn off my phone or something. Okay. Hopefully this will keep working. Yeah. Hey, Andrea, can you hear me okay?
Are you in the space through both of them?
Yeah, well, I'm doing, yes, I am for both experimenting here. I got the updated live stream, which hopefully is working better now. If anyone wants to check it out, I should link it to this so you can, if we need some visual aids, I can provide them. And then I can also play music now, I think. Oh, maybe not. I think I need to bring in an alt for that. But I figured out how to do it. I did play music successfully at the beginning of the space, so we can do that too.
I found that I can't play music through the same browser that I'm using the space in, so I have to open like a different browser, not the same brand, like a different executable.
Right. Yeah, I just need a different account. I think I still have it open, but then I won't be able to show the spaces at the same time. So.
Oh no, you're back. You're back in a tomb. You're echoing, Mellow.
Oh dear, I turned my phone off. It still sounds bad.
Yeah, still sounds bad.
Okay, I'm gonna do the phone instead. Is that better? Can you hear me now?
That's better.
That is good.
All right. Well, it's a very rickety vessel, this app. But I've got some things working. I'm sure now, as soon as I get people happy in the space and people watching the stream start commenting. So those listening, let me know if you can hear me too. Anyway, I wanted to say hi to Andrea. How's your mom doing?
Hi. Well, thank you so much. She refused to go. Despite all of my insistence, which is kind of a conflict because
Oh no,
the
what
medical
happened?
system. Well,
Andrea,
like
I don't know what happened. What happened?
Okay, in the last couple of days, like, feet and legs are not supposed to be purple, right? They're just not supposed to be. And, you're not supposed to wake up with suddenly your knee swollen. Okay, so maybe there's an issue here. Maybe we should kind of go to the doctor. It could be blood clots, maybe some hemorrhaging. Nope, 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 nope. No, it's just normal. I'm fine. It is apparently more important to clean the house. So that's what's happening. So, okay, but at least right now we've got the basic, rice, rest, ice, compression, elevation for the moment. So yes, I'm just gonna be back in my little peace bubble, and we'll see.
Just be glad you've got a house. My mom's about to be homeless, and I can't do shit about it. It's fuck.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
She's having trouble finding a place because she's got like more than one dog, and no one wants to give her a rental.
I remember that. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Wow. Oof. We should bring this vibe up for the benefit of all, in fact.
Oh no, yes, and that sucks, William. I almost have real life nightmares about trying to struggle on my own, paying rent in England again. It's a real thing. The housing and the economy, it's in a really, really shitty place not for everybody, but for the people, for the majority of the people, it's really, really bad. So I feel for you. No, but Andrea, before that, we were talking about Noah and the Ark and synchronicities and Sirius and Pi and are there little green men? Are there no little green men?
I love it. I love it. Earlier, I wanted to jump in on a couple of things. This idea of hydrodynamic something or other model of time totally fascinates me because here it is with that word hydro again.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
guys know that I'm really on this water thing, this idea of fluidity and liquefaction. So I wanted to hear more about that. But
Yeah, I
there
think
was someone
Roy
else.
will probably be coming back later, I think. And yeah, I love hearing
Good.
his and he's Roy's in sync with this as well as per the title, Miss Andrea. But yeah, you're asking before what sort of art projects I'm working on, and as usual, Roy and friends here have inspired some, but they're challenging ones, and they're ideas along the lines of what you're talking about. And they're hard to visually represent, but since you're such a brilliant describer of artistic ideas, I'll let you get back to it. But one of them that I'm working on right now, currently entitled is Time and Emergent Phenomena, which I think Roy said some sort of variation of that. And another one I'm working on, Do Our Thoughts Have Energy? So anyway, please continue, Andrea.
No, Andrea, I want to say to you quickly, after we were talking about, the plants and the water and the power of our words, I found a video yesterday. I was strolling on my Twitter, and a video popped up of this dude that does the 2 rice in jars experiment. I don't know if anyone else has seen this. So the guy, he boils rice. He has 2 jars. In one jar, he puts the same amount of rice, and in the other jar, he puts the same amount of rice. One of the jars is labeled up as love, and the other jar is labeled up as hate, pain. Every morning, he goes down to his jars, and the one that says love, he gives the affirmations of love. I love you. You're going to do well. You're going to survive. You're going to be good. You're going to be the best version of yourself you can be. I'm sending you all this energy and love. And to the one that's labeled hate, it says, I hate you. You're ugly. You're disgusting. You don't belong here. Go away. And over time, the one that he's been saying the hate to turns black. And the one that he isn't, that he's spreading love to, stays white. Now, I was looking in the comments to see if there was anyone that had actually done this experiment live, but I am damn gonna try it because there were lots of people in the comments going, yeah, no, right. This is a real thing. This happened. Yeah, I am Andrew. Yeah. What do you think about that?
Someone earlier, and it's too bad she's not in here. Her name was Major something or other, and I do tend to like things she has to say, but I think it was her who, and it may not have been, but someone said, we don't need philosophy because we have science and we have these, observational models of how to kind of put together these pieces of our reality. And the first thing I thought of was, well, no, we don't need to use philosophy. We get to use philosophy. And then I thought, all right, well, how does that tie in? But what I realized is, yeah, we can stay in these loops where we use science to make observation after observation that we are all intertwined, that we are all entangled, that one frequency affects the other frequency. We've been talking about this for a couple of years now, all of us. But that's where science stops. And that's where philosophy comes in, because it takes a certain consciousness, a certain self awareness to take that next step and say, okay, now what? What is the context of that? What does that mean? How do I fit into what I just observed? And then if you can take that into yourself and say, oh, that includes me, then we have some really interesting and possibly difficult levels of.
That's the wild thing. If that theory, like what you were just saying and what I was saying about the jars is correct, is that the frequency, the energy that comes out via the way that we're able to do it in words, if that does have influence on all matter, then that's like next level shit, you know?
even more directly, if I know that my energetics affect all of you, then ostensibly I have some responsibilities there, don't I? Maybe I don't, maybe I do, but I feel I do. If I know that my energetics, my words, my
Well,
frequency, my tone
if,
affects
yeah,
all of you
I,
aggregate, then how
if I were
what
to turn around to you now and say, Andra, I don't like you anymore. You're not my friend. I don't want to ever speak to you again. How is that going to make you feel? Whereas if I say, Andra, since you've come into your life, I really look forward to the spaces that I get to speak to you.
Okay.
I value you. You're important to me.
Okay. I'm muting the space. I'm trying to expand upon what I can do for the live streaming viewer listeners. So what I'm going to try now is I'm going to bring up my Midjourney so I can show you kind of how I develop some visual ideas based on the topics of the room, philosophical, nature, reality, whatever it is that tickles our fancy. So let me try that now. I'm going to try switching it. Okay. Cool. Now you can see my Discord. I'm working on, it's not great, but I've been trying to find a way to do something with this idea. I'm an emergent phenomenon. I like Katsuhiro Otomo, the artist who did the greatest anime film of all time, and I guess manga before that, Akira. So anyway, it's hard to make time not cliche because it's always a freaking clock. How there's an hourglass and then there's a clock. So anyway, I'm going to pay attention to the space now. I'm going to practice switching back to this one. Oh, okay. Now let's go back to the other screen. Let me know if you can hear it. Here we go. And share this tab.
Discord, but
Okay.
dissonance.
Now hopefully you can hear the
we're
space.
also going.
Hit
We're
me up in the
going
comments
from
if it's like squirrely on your end.
real.
Okay.
This sounds
Thanks.
really odd.
My new toys.
Real life
So, gotta
synchronicity.
get it
Like
working.
I said, I came into the space the other day and said something, and you went, "Well, that's another weird synchronicity that has just happened today." And then we're talking about the universal synchronicity. I think the two are very different from woman to man, man to woman, human to plant, whatever. But the universal, the
Hit me up in the comments
all-seeing
if you want
eye,
to see and hear the space,
the
people, or if
synchronicity.
you want to see what's going on behind the scenes with
Is
the
maybe
AI art.
is it just a layer
prompting.
then? Is it a layer of it all? Is that
I
the
do
best
want
way
to
to
I
describe
do want to
it?
get to the hands, but earlier this morning I posited that synchronicity may not have, a single definition or a single type of experience. There may be the synchronicities that happen if, say, I want to take a trip and I don't know how to do it, and I don't have money, I don't have transportation, I don't know where to stay, and then, but I set my attention and all those things just sort of fall in line synchronistically. That's one way of experiencing it. But another way is where I call pattern emergence, which doesn't seem to have a relative context to anything I'm intending or desiring, but just happens, which is, when you keep seeing a phrase or something kind of happens over and over. I'm not intending that. I'm not necessarily drawing that in, but I'm observing a synchronous pattern that may or may not have external context.
I'll see. And we will get to hands. I've just always viewed it as one giant umbrella of synchronicity, not actually broken it down into the different categories like you've just done. But that you are right. The synchronicities and the coincidences happening in different. But is that not just because we live in just one big, I don't know, one big illusion of a world? But let's go to existential. My friend, how are you doing?
I am blessed. I'm loved, as are you. I begin and end with glory to God, consciousness, and nature entwined.
Light just broke.
It is a 369 kind of day here. I am basically just remembering that moment of asking why,
just died.
and the image of why, and projecting that across as far as can be imagined and beyond, even beyond conscious thought. So in terms of the Y symbol in infinity with an X through it, there's always a space to ask questions. There's always that space to go, but what about something else? What about another
my friend existential
strange phenomenon that is beyond comprehension? So I am filled with awe and joy at the potential of all that has been, all that is, and all that is to come, which is bliss, yet terrifying, yet joyous. It's everything that you've come to expect.
I want to give you some updates on my AI art. This is the first one that I kind of like. I don't know if it's any good, but this is for is time an emergent property or something like that? So I'm calling it, is time an emergent phenomena? That's the idea. So let me know what you think about that one. That's my first choice. You can give it a thumbs up or down. Yeah, I've also tried making some art about isness, the isness of it all. These vague things can be hard to specify in a visual composition. If I can. Yeah, he's got his bases covered, I think. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to switch back to this space so you can follow that narrative as well. Okay, let's try it. I'm also making a website. I can show you that and tell me if it's really bad so far. Okay, so I'm going to share. I'm learning
because the mind's eye
can you hear it?
Is only the mind. It is only a mind. It is only a specimen of a 2D, 3D, 5D, 10D, whatever idea of reality. But to discuss that and to play with that and to be in love with the process of that. I love me. I love you. I love infinity. So thank you. And I'm completely wrong. To be right, like is in right. Like not even right on, it's some kind of wild phenomena to get the answer to. That's where I'd say it's not to break down science or to prophesize one superior dogma or philosophy or religion or ideology. I'm grateful in the moment. So I'll leave it there for now. And I seen a purple cow chewing on yellow rye. Thank you.
Amazing. Ronan,
Thank you.
Ronan, what would you like to say, Ronan?
Hey, Ronan, you with us? But while we wait, I want to try another audio test. I think I know. Oh,
no, he's back. He's back.
Okay, Ronan, give me a second. I just want to try something really quick. I'm making progress on my streaming skills. Okay, hold on. I'm going to mute this one. I'm going to close the window. And okay, and now, okay, now it's probably going to be a little echoey. Is it a little echoey right now?
No, that's awful.
Okay. Now
it's echoey.
Yes, ma'am. I was expecting it to be echoey. Here's my experiment part. Don't get too excited, but I want to try muting this thing.
Yes.
You just sound like Citizens Dawn.
I know, and I would like to not lose track of the conversation and where we were going, because it was absolutely fascinating. It's a
You sound great, Mother.
We can.
Someone else can go ahead. I'm not paired with my Bluetooth headset, so I can't really hear too much.
Can I ask you, Ronan, what's your PFP? What is that? Is that Optimus?
It's the Figure One robot. I just thought it looked cool, but like I don't have like any favorites when it comes to. Well, no, I do have a favorite, Boston Dynamics. I do think like they're ahead in like just like the dexterity of, or replicating the dexterity of the human body, or at least like something that is intended to work in human spaces. So
Yeah, no, it looks really cool. Like really, really cool. I am. What do you have to say I am?
Firstly, what is stopping you? And that is a rhetorical question. Secondly, Dr. Emoto has extensive research and literature on this subject regarding the rice. And I've done a multitude of double-blind experiments myself. I've even went to as far as bringing the rice back from rot in praise.
Wow.
So
Well,
consider the power, personally, consider the power of the word, of the spoken word, and even the unspoken intention. And also the zeal, if you're so inclined.
What's the zeal? I am?
The zeal is the incantation that would be most commonly recognized as a label.
Oh. Like a paper label or like a stamped label?
Any label, any zeal, any symbol, any sigil, or rune.
Yeah, no, that's interesting because in many tombs there are jars with seals, and on the seals it has something imprinted on it that belonged to the owner. Jars. I didn't know. Part of my awakening a few years ago, the jar thing came up, and I was like, I don't have any understanding of why jars, stamped jars, and you've just brought up jars again.
There's actually like a way to, I don't know, I read about this in like 2016. There's like a teleportation thing you can do to jump timelines, where you have 2 glasses of water and you put your labels of the desired realities where you are, where you want to be on the, and then you pour the water from one cup to the other, and that's sort of meant to, bring you from one to the other somehow. I don't know.
To be in both jars at the same time. Why I? It smells and tastes fine.
Hey guys, how's it going? Great conversation, very interesting. I kind of moving a little bit to the interconnectedness of all things. I see this from a very practical perspective. The work that I do is in unresolved trauma and family systems, dealing specifically with a modality called family constellations, and the underlying understanding in family constellations is that we all are interconnected, right? In some capacity, that we all are biological systems that are connected by some collective subconscious. And it's repeatable, trainable. It's as right as the, like turning on a light switch. Every time you get in a group of people and you start a family constellation workshop, it just simply works. And it's very solidly grounded in the phenomenological aspect of things. And what happens a lot of the times is people, if anybody's familiar with the modality, is you pick people to represent people in your family system, and these people will connect with their breath or close their eyes, and they will represent internal dynamics of what's happening in their family system, right? And that may be that you pick somebody to represent your father, somebody to represent your mother, somebody to represent your sibling, and then somebody to represent you, and then suddenly the person that's representing you is laying on the ground, and that information is like, are you depressed? It's like, information about depression may come up. And by some phenomenological process, people connect with the subconscious context of who you are. And through that process, pull out information that once reorganized in the family system, like doing, a reformatting of a computer, if anybody is into technology, right? It's like literally reformatting a computer, and you can realign the internal dynamics of somebody. And they can release these patterns that no longer serve them. And that pattern might be that they were being, they were keeping themselves small and out of loyalty to a family member, or they were trying to bring awareness to somebody that had passed that had not been recognized in the family. And the interconnectedness of the system of all of us as human beings brings out that information without the person that's doing the representation knowing the person's story. It's incredible to witness. It is the most profound thing I've ever seen from a practical perspective, right? I've experienced a lot of things in my life, but from a repeatable, measurable, practical healing process that takes, a day of sessions or workshops, I've never seen something as powerful as this, and as representative of that interconnected phenomenon that we all are experiencing, right? The same phenomenon that is like, you understand when somebody's looking at you and you're, feel somebody staring at you. It's the same thing that if you're thinking about a parent and they suddenly call you, or a sibling that they suddenly call you. Rupert Sheldrake has the closest approximation as Rupert Sheldrake's, morphogenic resonance, right? Or morphogenic field. Bert Hellinger, the guy that started this work, and Rupert Sheldrake were friends, and the reason why is because it explained this phenomenon. But we talk about this interconnectedness in a very and nothing against anybody, but in a very air quotes woo-woo, spiritual sense. But I'm very technical. I used to be a mechanic in the military, and the whole concept of the Zulu One thing is to look at this from a practical, tactical, operational perspective, and give people real tools to be able to deal with those internal patterns and those internal trauma dynamics that we can release because they no longer serve us. So just giving a little bit of a different perspective to the group, I think is important, because these conversations can become so esoterical and like, yeah, I've experienced things that I cannot explain, right? And they're difficult to quantify, but difficult also to popularize, right? And I think that the stuff that we're experiencing in the U.S. is all based on fear and unresolved trauma and social and cultural systems. And my mission is to educate as many people as possible in how dangerous their unresolved trauma is, because it's being used to leverage you to stay in the pattern of destruction and the continuation of the pattern of pain. So just thank you guys for letting me talk. I very much appreciate it, and great space.
Happy Sunday. Just trying to get the mute. Oh, I love that. My friend Nicole actually pinged me in Mellow. She was like, she put it in our group thread. So if you haven't met her, you're gonna love her. She's amazing. So, oh my gosh, I was so loving Zulu, your share. I thought it was so beautiful. You know, I've been sort of connected in the, I think, with what you were talking about my whole life, right? So that infinite field of consciousness that connects us all, the interconnectedness of all things, just to reference the title, Mellow, for you. I've been connecting and communicating with people who are no longer in a body since I was a little bitty, right? And lots of other beings. And the way I see it, as an adult now, of course, you know, lots of experience with all of this, is that our consciousness, that the persona that we create when we're in these lives, still exists after we leave our body and will always exist. There's always an element of that within our soul expressions that's available for connection and communication. And the greater consciousness that we are, that expands beyond all of these lives and expressions on earth and everywhere else, is always there to connect and communicate with. So anyone who wants to connect with it, once you remember how to do it, right, can speak to that loved one and can connect in. And the way to tell
it makes perfect sense, Bridget, because why would your consciousness, something that doesn't need form, have anything to do with your physical body? It transcends. The consciousness transcends. So
100%.
exactly, if we're going back to what I was saying that happened a few nights ago about when I was talking about signs with somebody on Spaces, and then my lights flicker. That's not a physical green alien pushing the flick button on the light switch, or it's not a man flicking the switch. It's very, very much a different dimension of consciousness.
Yeah. What's interesting is connecting with someone who's recently like transitioned out of, I call it transitioning because to me, we don't die, right? Our body may no longer exist, the physicality of us, but the rest of us is still very much available. But someone who has recently transitioned will still hold often a lot of the personality traits, right? And then someone who's maybe been transitioned for a while, they're now more in their expansion. They remembered who they are outside of the earth experience that we're connecting with, that persona. And so they can give cues to, you know, say I'm connecting in. I don't do this all the time, you guys. I actually try not to connect in with people that are no longer in the body these days, just because it can get really, I don't know, there's just a lot that happens.
This is interesting because I've never had a thing of speaking to a past loved one or a consciousness from a human being come back to be able to contact me. I've only just been aware of energy. My experience is very much about Pi, the beginnings, what it is that we are and everything else. But I love talking to people that are like, no, I can contact my nan Sylvia. Like I think that's incredible that people have the ability to do that. But it's just I think it's all weird and wacky, right? Everything that we're talking about here is weird and wacky, but it's lovely that we're all kind of coming together to talk about these kind of things. Yes, existential. Go.
I shall leave that open to Bridget. If there is a bridge to come, Bridget. Shall we bridge the gap, Bridget?
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah. So all I was about to say, just to wrap up, thank you, Existential. That was very loving of you, very supportive. So all I was about to say is when someone has been transitioned for a while, right? Whatever that looks like, we will feel them and see them as like we'll know that it's them. They can give us cues about their life. but they feel
Hey,
different.
homies,
So
I want
it's
to mute this. Mute that. Homies, let me know. Does it sound bad here on the stream? Please send me a comment, right? Because they said it sounded bad for some reason when I was using this mic in the space, and I want to know if it's at least okay for you. Otherwise, I'll turn it off. If it's not good for anyone, then why do I have this beautiful Joe Rogan microphone? Why am I trying to be a streaming bro if no one can hear me? It's an existential crisis. I need to, just kind of clear up. So, thank you. Let's get back in the space on the phone since I can't connect on the freaking Chrome browser. Join space. So yes, I got booted from my own space. I gotta reconnect. This is what happens when I resurrect myself or recycle myself. I'm gonna get some more coffee, but I'm going to adjust the view for you. Just gonna hide myself. All right, I guess I'll just be right back.